Yes, Mr. President, we'd like to... Yes, we'd like to recognize, Mr. President, a distinguished colleague from Taguig and Pateros in the Republic of the Philippines, no other than Alan Peter Cayetano, Mr. President.
Is there any objection? Senator Alan Peter Cayetano is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, I was with former Senate President Escudero 60 minutes before we had to start the session. And then I intently listened to the prayer of our now Senate President Tito Soto. And it warms my heart that the two gentlemen and us who support them individually and collectively as a Senate can truly say, and even Brother Robin, kasi po si Propetang Jeremiah ay propeta sa Hudyo, Muslim at Kristiyano, we can truly say the warmness in our heart na pag sinabing, "For I know the plans I have for you, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope in a future," is true for all of us. I saw the hope, I saw the humility, I saw the passion in the prayer of Senate President Soto, but I also saw the compassion, the sincerity, the humility of Senate President Escudero in stepping down. So now the heartbreak is that we as a Senate have to really surrender to God how we will find a solution for the massive corruption that is happening in our country at a time where the trust to our government institutions and leader may be at its lowest. Every time we think it is the worst time, something even worse comes. My hope is this. Usually, permanent ang politics, yung change temporary. I hope together we can find a way na maging permanent yung change or true transformation at temporary yung politics. It's funny, Mr. President, kasi the day after the Senate President took office, yun yung massive rally ng ating mga kapatid for unity in the nation. So I can claim that nagsimula yung Senate presidency ni Senate President Escudero ng panahon ng isang Sara D. or the Vice President Sara Duterte. This morning, we heard another Sara D., Sara Diskaya, and that ended naman his Senate President. So, sarado na po ang term ni Senate President Escudero. Pero, nagbubukas pa lang ang linaw, and I do not say na yung sinabi ni Sara Diskaya kanina is gospel truth. I know there's a lot of truth there. Marami pang truth ang lalabas. So I just want to, in congratulating Senator Soto, Senator Lacson, Senator Migs, all of our colleagues, I would like to manifest that I'll probably remain in the minority, but I look forward to working with you, whether we agree or disagree, because the country needs the Senate now more than ever. And my only regret naman or heartbreak is that Senator Villanueva and Senator Escudero was not able to fully vent the issues against them, precisely because every time they wanted to, they thought of the Senate. Having said that, they will have all the time and opportunity now, and the Senate always finds a way that even if its members disagree, we move forward as an institution that loves God and loves country. So for the capacity, in different capacities of the committees I have held, I'd like to thank everyone for that opportunity also. Again, Senate President, welcome back and congratulations.
Thank you, Senator Alan Peter Cayetano. Majority Leader.
Senator Joel. Yeah. Yes, Mr. President, we'd like to recognize my distinguished Majority Floor Leader in the 19th Congress, and also the distinguished Majority Floor Leader of the 20th Congress, no other than my dear friend, former Senate Majority Leader, Joel Villanueva.
Is there any objection? Hearing none, Senator Joel Villanueva is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you to our Majority Leader. Very short manifestation, Mr. President. With honor and privilege, karangalang napakalaki bilang isang anak ng isang Bulakenyo na makapaglingkod bilang inyong Majority Leader dito sa Senado. Karangalan po natin makapaglingkod under the leadership of then Senate President Mig Zubiri, then Senate President Cheese Escudero, na talagang nagtiwala din po sa atin. Muli, maraming salamat sa ating mga kasamahan dito sa Senado. All your trust and confidence to this representation. Lagi pong napakalaking karangalan yung mabigyan ng posisyon, lalo na sa liderato ng Senado, na paglingkuran ang ating Diyos at ang ating bayan, at lalong-lalo na po ang mahal na mahal nating institusyon. Kanina po kasama po ako with Your Honor, the presiding officer and Senate President and the Majority Leader doon sa meeting natin kanina for this very smooth transition. At isa lamang po yung ating napagkasunduan, lahat po tayo may isang common denominator. At yun ay protektahan at siguruhin na ang institusyon na pinakamamahal natin ay laging mas mataas yung paglilingkod. Romans 8:20 kung Mr. President that also now available to be part of the opposition, the minority, and yung kagaya ng Peter Cayetano, na tayo po bilang mga lingkod bayan, nais nating makipagtulungan kahit kanino man kung ito po ay sa direksyon na pagbibigay linaw, pagbibigay tamang direksyon sa ating mga institusyon, sa ating mga government agencies, higit sa lahat in promoting truth, justice, and righteousness. Sabi po dun sa Philippians 3:14, we continue to press on toward the goal to win the prize of what God has prepared for all of us. Kaya muli, congratulations sa ating Senate President Tito Soto sa bagong liderato ng Senado. Kami po'y magiging kakatuwang ninyo sa paglilingkod sa ating Diyos sa bayan. At gaya nung huling sinabi ko nung natapos po yung aking pagiging majority leader, sinabi ko po, the greater cause outweighs my personal interest. Maraming salamat. Mabuhay po kayo.
Thank you, Senator Villanueva. Majority Leader.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. And I'd like to put on record, we'd like to thank the magnanimity of the Majority Floor Leader, Senator Joel Villanueva, and the Senate President for a smooth transition in today's proceedings. We thank them, sir. And we thank you for your service, sir. Mr. President, I'd like to recognize now the acceptance speech of our Honorable Senate President, no other than Vicente C. Soto III. Mr. President, I move to recognize.
Is there any objection? Hearing none, the Senate President, Vicente Soto III, is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. President. Philippians chapter 2, verses 3 to 4, quotes, "Do nothing out of selfish ambition or vain conceit. Rather, in humility, value others above yourselves, not looking to your own interests, but each of you to the interests of the others." End of quote. Mr. President, I am deeply humbled and sincerely grateful to the Almighty Father, also to the Senate President, Francis Cheese Escudero, who administered my oath today, and to you, my esteemed colleagues, who reposed your trust and confidence in me and in my capability to again lead this august chamber at this crucial and challenging time. Our people are enraged of corruption, corruption that is now seen, heard, and felt by the Filipinos more than ever. The failed flood control projects that's supposed to protect the lives, livelihood, and properties of our countrymen, the dilapidated classrooms for our students, and the lack of quality farm-to-market roads to aid our farmers, all are engulfed in corruption, hindering the progress of the nation as a whole. In 2018, the Senate, when I was Senate President, firmly stood in its ground, opposing the unconstitutional realignments made in the 2019 budget after the bicameral conference committee report was ratified. These realignments amounting to 75 billion pesos were vetoed by then-President Duterte in accordance to the Senate's appeal and findings. Also, the funding of the free tertiary education, which triggered the law of Senator Bam Aquino and the others, is the result of the strict scrutiny of the budget by Senator Pampilo Lacson, where he found some floating budget amounting to 8.3 billion pesos in 2017. Mr. President, corruption is now perceived by our people to be in the whole of government. But with the political will of those in position and together with the vigilance and clamor from the public, we can fight this and bring transparency and true accountability that our nation deserves. You have gifted me with the honor of being your Senate President the second time around. To reiterate my statement from my previous election, I did not become your superior. I am simply a presider of your session. I am your listener, your advisor, if you so desire, your enabler for anything within my power to do so. I am primus inter pares, or first among equals, but among equals. In 1 Peter chapter 5, verses 2 and 3, and I quote, "Be shepherds of God's flock that is under your care, watching over them, not because you must, but because you are willing, as God wants you to be, not pursuing dishonest gain, but eager to serve, not lording it over those entrusted to you, but by being examples of the flock." End of quote. So as I said before, I will do everything in my capacity to ensure that this Senate will remain cooperative, but independent, balanced, transparent, and sincere. Thus, I am guided by Proverbs 3, in everything you do, put God first, and He will direct you and crown your efforts with success. Allow me to also thank my family, especially my wife Helen, for her unconditional love and unwavering support. Dala ko po ang aral mula sa aking mga magulang at mga ninuno na nauna rito magsilbi sa bayan dito sa Senado. Maraming salamat sa Panginoon Diyos at dasal ko ang patuloy niyang proteksyon at gabay sa ating institusyon at sa ating bansa. Thank you very much, Mr. President, my esteemed colleagues. Thank you.
Thank you, Senate President Soto. Session is suspended.
No objection, the session is adjourned until 3 o'clock of Tuesday, September 9, 2025.
Thank you, Mr. President.